Friends and family, how you all doing? This is Lord Badu, and today I'm gonna speak about something that a lot of people think about, a lot of people talk about, and all the things I'm gonna say. You may not necessarily agree, but I think it's worth listening to. These are five pros and cons. Well, it's gonna be 10 altogether, but five pros and five cons of marrying early. But I'm gonna give a bit of a disclaimer here. I'm gonna be honest with you. The cons are definitely can be turned into pros because I'm a big advocate for marrying early, but I'm just trying to be as balanced as I can. But let's get straight to the point. The first reason that I believe or pro for marriage is because when you marry early, you can spiritually grow together, right? You reach spiritual maturity together. Why? Because marriage allows you to grow spiritually in ways that you've never thought of. I was preaching this Sunday, and I officiated a marriage. And I was telling them that marriage is one of the greatest means or greatest tools for sanctification, meaning that marriage is one of the greatest tools that God uses to make you more like Himself. Because when you get married, you're going to realize that there's so many things that you yourself need to work on. But as you're a mature believer in Christ, as you're somebody who's mature, you realize that these things are my flaws. I need to get better in order for my marriage to get better. Now you start working on yourself. In a sense, it's almost like character development or character growth, right? This is what marriage does. If you marry the right way, at least, if you have the right mentality when you come into marriage, you automatically start thinking that, okay, I need to get better in this area. I need to get better in this area. I need to draw closer to God. See, as a man, I remember the great Tony Evans once said that if you see that your wife is rebelling against you, maybe she's not submitting to you, now you have to check your submission to God. Are you being rebellious to God? Are you listening to the things that He's told you to do? See, because marriage is a reflection, or the relationship in your marriage, they say, as for the man, is a reflection between you and God. However, you're treating God, that's how your wife is going to treat you, right? So, marriage is one of the greatest tools and greatest means for sanctification. It helps you to spiritually grow, it helps you to become more like Christ in many ways. Now, number two, a pro to marrying young is that you can build your lives together. Building your lives together. This is so crucial because I know, especially coming from an African background, everyone believes that, especially the man, should have everything. Everything. But now think about it. If the man had everything, why would he need a helper? Right? The helper comes to help him accomplish things that God has put in his heart or God has has given him to do, right? He can't have everything. Well, he can, but it's better when you marry young, you guys come together and are able to build things together. Now, for instance, if you marry a man who kind of has everything, you are simply just coming into all that he has, all that was his, right? And it even becomes an issue sometimes, especially if the people are battling pride, because it's like, bro, listen, I came in, you came in to meet me where I was. I have everything that I need. You don't need to come in and touch my stuff the way you're doing it, this, and that, because it all belongs to me. But when you build from the ground up, everything has to do with us. Everything has to do with ours. That's the language that you begin to use, right? But when you come into something that you already have, it's like, okay, you're touching my thing, right? That's the language you start to build. It's not about me. It's not about what I have, but it's about what we have and what we're building all together. So a pro to getting married young is that you can build from scratch together, and you guys can come together, put your minds on the same goals, on the same things that you want to achieve, and make it happen. It's a beautiful thing when two people can come together, plan something, and make it work. There is a sense of accomplishment. And what it actually does is it even draws you guys closer together. It makes you guys love each other more. It makes you guys appreciate each other more because you both had nothing, but now you are somewhere, and simply by the grace of God and hard work. So those things are very important. Number three, you all know I was gonna come for this one. It helps avoid temptation, y'all. Listen, when you're young, hormones are jumping crazy, moving left, moving right, moving up, moving down. Listen, it's going everywhere. But when you're able to marry young, what it does is it helps you avoid sexual temptation. It helps you throwing your life away. Listen, I'm telling you guys this, especially young men. Many of you are throwing your life away for sex. And that's the truth. A lot of women, many of you are throwing yourselves away simply for sex. And that's what's happening. And nobody wants used goods. I'm just trying to be honest here, right? But when you are able to marry young, it helps you to stay focused on what you have, right? Instead of being tempted left, being tempted right, doing this, hiding in your room, and whatever, right? You are channeling all your energy into the one that you already love, the one that you have, the one that you are going to spend the rest of your life with. And it's a beautiful thing when everything is done in the confines of marriage because God blesses it. And God says that if you honor him, he will honor you. The fourth pro of marrying young is that you have mutual support. See, in life, everybody needs somebody. But sometimes, life happens in a way where the people that you thought would help you aren't the people that are there for you. The people that you thought would come through for you, they may not come for you. They may not come through for you the way that you thought they would. But when you have a spouse, see, that person is meant to be with you through thick and thin. I remember the vows that I was making the new couple say, through rich and poor, through the good and the bad. That's what a spouse is there for. They're there to be your best friend. They're there to be your support, your guide, your help in times of trouble, in good times, right? For that. So when you marry young, you have that mutual support. And it's almost like, of course, you need people, but in a sense, you don't need much because the person that you need is right by your side. And these are very, very important things. Very, very important things to have. Then the fifth thing that I wanted to bring up, or the fifth pro of marrying young, is that you are now able to have a long period of time to fulfill all that God wants you both to fulfill. The very purpose and plan that God brought you guys together, there is so much time for you to do that. See, I got married at 22, as many of you know. I became a pastor at 20, either 26 or 27, right? And now, we're about 3-4 years in. And I believe that all of it happened because, God, in God's wisdom, I married young. Kind of everything happened in such a sequence that makes sense, right? And the Lord was gracious to us. And now we're able to fulfill all that we're doing. In this short period of time, there's a lot that we've done, but there's so much more that we are going to do. And we've had time together to do that, right? And it's a beautiful thing because with the life that's ahead of us, there is so much work that we can do. There is so much impact that we can make. And I'm so glad that I did that. And I'm praying that even as somebody's listening to be here, that, you would be inspired in that way. As a kingdom man, a kingdom woman, you would make that decision. You'd make that bold step and make it happen for you. Sorry, y'all. As a matter of fact, I apologize for the false advertisement. I was supposed to give 5 cons, but I was really thinking about it. I don't even have 5 cons, to be honest. I actually think majority of it are pros. But let's just say, for balancing sake, a con of marrying early is that, you're immature, right? When you get married at a young age, you are immature. You have no life experience. You don't know anything in a sense. But I remember I was saying that at the wedding, you know, To be a medical doctor, you got to go to school for like 6 years, medical school. You got to do some practice. And then you got to take your exam before you get the license to practice medicine officially. To be a driver, you got to go to driving school. You got to take a driving exam. You got to do all these things before you actually get the license. The only thing that you get a license before you actually practice is marriage. You have to get a marriage license before you actually get married, right? It's a mystery. But at the same time, as I was mentioning, it's a con. But at the same time, you never know how to be married until you get married. That's just life, right? You got to go through the experiences. You got to go through the ups and downs. And as you go through these things, you would get better at it if you put in effort. I say that no marriage should be on autopilot. Every marriage, there should be intentionality. There should be effort being put in on both sides for the marriage to grow to what it's supposed to be. Now, another con is financial instability. So, you know, especially I was listening to something. I think it was a video, and there was a pastor from Ghana. He was saying that, listen, some of you guys are afraid to get married because you don't have money. You guys have to marry, make the bold step and get married. And everyone was just making noise about it left and right and saying, hey, listen, in this economy, if you don't have money, how can you take care of somebody? How can you do this? How can you do that? But listen, everything is not about money. You can get married as a rich man and lose everything. For those who know my story, they know the situation that I was in. I had everything, I lost everything. I was still married at a young age, right? But money is not everything. Money is something. Money is important. You need money to survive. You need money to take care. But money is not everything. But that is a con. If you don't have enough, in a sense, to take care of yourself and take care of others, that becomes a very big problem. Now, they say another con for getting married early is maybe you married the wrong person. Um, I can't say too much to that because I have my own viewpoints on it. But you could have rushed and made a decision that you didn't need to make. That is very true. Um, and a lot of people get themselves in that situation. They feel like they married the wrong person. Uh, that can go both ways, though. Do you feel like it? But I say love is not a feeling. Love is a choice that you choose to make every single day, right? If love was a feeling, you can fall in love and fall out of love, and that would be very terrible. Many people would be falling out of love every single day, um, but that's not what real love is. Real love is a choice that you make. But a con in marrying early is that you could possibly regret the person that you married because the person you married at that time used to be a specific way, but then things happen in life and they change or they stay the same while you change. That is a con that you can face. And the last one I'll say is lack of guidance. Lack of guidance. When you marry too early, sometimes people kind of leave you for dead. There's no there's no guidance. There's no plan. There's no anything that anyone is giving you. You kind of just get thrown into the fire. You kind of have to figure out everything yourself. But in a sense, that is life. That is life, right? Uh, you got to be thrown into the fire sometimes to figure out how to be something or how to do something. So these are 5 pros and a few cons that I had. But once again, I'm biased. I don't believe in really in any of the cons. I'm just trying to do that as a balance for my viewers out there. But if you know some genuine cons, and pros, please write them in the chat. That would be amazing. God richly bless you. Please subscribe to the channel. There's going to be more of these conversations. As a matter of fact, sometimes I'll do lives and you can be asking questions and things of that sort. Let's chop it up. Let's talk more. See you in the next video.